Hi, welcome to geometry. Before we start our first unit, we have this question. How is this cityscape related to geometry? Well, we know this is a city, could be any city, New York City, Toronto, Paris, Chicago, whatever. And you notice the buildings. Each building has its different forms, a lot of windows, and other things with it. So how is it related to geometry? Well, when you think of geometry, you think of shapes. There are many different shapes that you know. We have like square, rectangles, circles, trapezoids. So if you were to look at the cityscape, you'll notice the different shapes that appear. So we have rectangles, the windows that are long rectangular shape. The faces of the buildings are rectangular. You have the roof, which is a triangular form. It looks like a pyramid. This side of the roof, a trapezoid. You have this antenna. You got a line at this little circle. It could be treated as a point, if especially on a graph paper. It could be a point or a circle. Then you have this organic shape. What else do we see? What else? There's other ones. You got lines, points, planes. Sides of buildings are also known as planes. We have this arc shape. So in this whole picture, the cityscape is related to geometry because you got different shapes that are put together to form a 3D shape, which are the buildings or cars or trees. So in our first unit, we're dealing with foundation of geometry. And our lesson that we're going to learn today is points, lines, and planes. The objective is, how do we work with basic structures and terms in geometry? So there are three factors that we're going to learn. We've got point, line, and plane. We're going to learn the definition, the example, and how to name it. So the first one is point. A location. A point has neither shape or size. It's just a point. An example is that point there. So if you have a point, you label it point A. And this is how you would name it. Point A. So point is just a dot, and you label it point A. A line, a definition is made up of at least 2 points. It has no thickness or width. So in order for a segment to be a line, it has to be made up of 2 points. If there's only 1 point, it's just a point. If there's 2, you've made a line. And an example is, you got your 2 points, and then you got label A and B. And how to name it would be uppercase, cursive letters, or 2 points on a line. So there would be 2 points. Let me just put that. So you would have the line, it would be 2 points. But if you were to label it, just tell me, okay, it's line AB, line AC, you would have it like this. And plane, like we saw in the picture before. It's a flat surface made up of points. It extends infinitely. So again, you have a plane, think of a surface, a front part of a building, and if you were to put lots of points, all those points would create this plane. An example, you have this diagram showing you a shape, and there are 3 points on it. So you need at least 3 points to make a plane. So remember, if you have 1 point, a point is just a point. 2 points, you've created a line. And plane, you've got 3 points or more. And notice how that S, that tells you this is called plane S. Or you could call it plane ABC based on the points. You just need 3 points to label it as a plane. So if it was like XYZ, then you would put plane XYZ. Or you could just simply call it plane S. All right, so we have other vocabulary. Collinear. Collinear means points on the same line. So if you have a line and you have, remember, we got 2 points to make a line. If you have a third point on that line, then it's collinear. Non-collinear, points not on the same line. So if you had a line with 2 points and then you have a point that's not even in the line, then it's not collinear. Coplanar, planar meaning the plane. So all those points are on the same plane. Going back to the example, these points are coplanar. But the opposite would be coplanar, points not on the same plane. So if you remember the shape of ABC on that plane, and let's say D was outside, then those 4 points are not coplanar because it has to be on the same plane. So it says through any 2 points there is a line. Through any 3 non-collinear points there is a plane. So remember, you need 2 points to make a line and 3 points, at least 3 points to make a plane. The question is, how are points, lines, and planes considered undefined terms? Answer, they can only be described using examples and description. So now we have pictures showing intersections of geometric shapes. This part we have 2 lines, we have 2 planes, and then we have a line and a plane. So when you have 2 lines intersecting each other, where they intersect, it forms a point. When you have 2 planes intersecting each other, so you got plane Q and plane P, they both intersecting each other. Where they intersect that, it's going to create a line. In order to visualize it, look at the room and look at the 2 walls. You have let's say the wall and the ceiling. See where they intersect. Notice what's created. There's a line that's created up at the ceiling. So when you got 2 planes intersecting, they create that line. So that's the best way to visualize it. And then it says a line and a plane intersect. When you have a line and a plane intersecting, they intersect at a point. So again, if you look back, you look in the room, if you look at a plane, so let's say either ceiling or the wall, and then the line. So look at the line that goes vertical from floor to top, and then the ceiling. Where that intersection is, you see it's a point. So again, that's the best way to visualize it. So 2 lines create a point, intersect at a point. 2 planes intersect at a line, and a line and a plane intersect at a point. So we have our first example. We have a plane N, and we have a line with 4 points in it, and it's labeled L, and then we have a point that's on the plane. So first thing is we have to name a line containing point B. Point B is on line L, and how we would label it is line L. So we need to name a plane containing point C. Okay, so we see point C. It's on the line. So what plane is it on? How do we label it? It's plane N. Remember, if you do not put these labels like line L, plane N, and you just put the letter, it's not going to be complete. You need to be precise and accurate. You need to label. Without those labels, you lose points for that, especially on a test. So we have another one. We got a plane, we got line, and we got a point. So they want you to name a line containing point K. Let's find K. It is on line A. We need to name a plane containing point L. There's L. We're looking for a plane. This is a plane. What it's labeled? B. Plane B. Alright. So now we have a diagram showing a plane, a solid shape, a line going through the plane. So we're going to use these questions based on this diagram. So it says, how many planes appear in this picture? And we have to name them. So we look at the planes. Let's see. We know this is a plane based on what was shown before. But let's look at this diagram, this pyramid that's sitting on the plane. Remember what I said in the beginning of the unit, beginning of the lesson, how if you look at a cityscape and you look at a building, each surface of that building is a plane. So treat this 3D shape. Each surface, each side is considered a plane. So we have 1, this side, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we should have 5 of them. Hopefully I've labeled all. We got plane P, plane ABD, ABD, plane ACD, this side over here, plane DCB, and I should also add, you get that? I should also add plane ABC. Yes, ABC is sitting on plane P, but if you were to remove that plane, then this would be still counted as a plane. It's just a plane sitting on a plane. Sounds funny. But yes, so there's 5 of them. And let me just put 5. So there's 5 of them. So we got plane P, plane ADB, ABD, ACD, plane DCB, and plane ABC. Alright, the next question is name 3 points that are collinear. If you go back, collinear, meaning all the points on the same line. Collinear. So if we look for a line, let's look for a line. We have this line, but it only has 2. This has 2, 2. Notice that G is on BD, line BD. So we have DGB. So those are the 3 points that are collinear. And notice how I labeled point D, point G, point B. If you were to just use the word point once, you would put points, plural, D, G, B. If not, then you have to individually label them point D, point G, point D, point G, point B. Same thing like I did with the plane. Next one. Are points A, B, and G coplanar? Let's go back and look. Let's see. We have A, we have B, and G is over here. So they're asking us if they are coplanar. So we have the plane DAB, DAB, plane DAB. Coplanar, that means we have the points on that plane. So G is part of that plane. So yes, because G, A, and B are on plane A, D, B. So yes, they are coplanar. Next one. At what point do AC, line AC, and CB intersect? So we have AC, and then we have CB. When they meet at point C. Where does line EF and plane P intersect? So we have plane P, and we have line FE. They intersect right here. So it is point E. And where does plane P and plane ADC intersect? So we have our plane, the green plane, and then we have plane ADC. It's right back here on this side. Where do they intersect? So we have this plane, and then we have this plane. So they intersect at line AC. You could write the word line AC or have the symbol for line, which is I should just put segment, yeah, segment, which is AC. So that's fine, since it's just a segment. All right. Same thing with checkpoint 2. We'll go through this quickly. How many planes appear in this picture and name them? We got this as a plane, because you need at least 3 points, and then we have this plane. So there's 2 of them, and it's plane ABC and plane S. Name 3 points that are collinear. We're looking for a line, and we're looking for 3 points that are on that line. So we got point D, point B, and point A. They're all on the same line. Are points A, B, C, and D coplanar? Let's look at this. We got A, we got B over here, we got C. They're on that plane, but D is not. No, because D is outside plane ABC. So if it's outside, it's not coplanar. If it's inside, then it is. At what point do AC and DB intersect? So we got AC and DB. They do not intersect because they're in separate locations. So no point of intersection, as I showed too soon. And where does line AD and plane S intersect? So we got this plane, the gray plane, and then we have AD, this line, right there, point B. And where does plane S and plane ABC intersect? So we got plane S and we got ABC. So this portion touches that plane. That's where the intersection area is. So it's line BC. So I didn't need to put that there. It's being redundant, but again, either you say line BC or you have that little line on top. All right, so for the next one, it says draw, label, and figure, draw and label a figure for each situation. So we have plane R that contains the line AB and DE, which intersects at point P. Then you have to add point C on plane R so that it is not collinear with AB or DE. All right, so we're going to draw that. See if I can get my shape. We're looking for a plane. So let me see, I'll get this one. All right, so I'm going to draw the plane. That's my plane. And it has the lines. So I need to have my line. All right, so actually no, I need to use this instead. All right, so I'm going to have, they say that those 2 lines, AB and DE, intersect at point P. So I'm going to draw my 2 lines. And then, of course, I'm going to label them. So I've got AB, and then I got DE, and then they intersect at point P. All right, got the first part. Now add point C on the plane R. So I need to label my plane R. So I need to put R, because that's my plane. And I need to add point C. So I'm going to add point C right over here. You could add it anywhere. And it says add point C on plane R, that is so it's not collinear to AB and DE. So I cannot put it on those 2 lines. So that's why it's going to be outside on the plane. And that's it. So you've drawn 2 lines that intersect at P and added a point that is not collinear, meaning that it's not on the same line of those 2 lines, but it's sitting on plane P. Plane R. Okay, not too bad. Next one. Do the same thing. We need to have a plane. So I'm going to go back and have my plane. If I can get to it. Nope, let me undo. I don't want that shape. All right, so I got plane. And they say plane D, so I'm going to label it right away. So I know it's plane D. It says it contains a line A, line M, and line T, with all 3 lines intersect at point Z. So I'm going to draw my lines and label them. So I have line, one line, I have another line, and then I have another line. And I need to label them. So one of them is line A, the other one is line M, and the other one is line T. And they all intersect at point Z. So now they said add point F on plane D so that it's not collinear with any of the three given lines. And that's it. It's not on the line, it's on the plane, but it's not collinear because collinear means, not collinear means it's not on the line. Okay, the next one. Draw and label figure for each situation for this one. So we have line QR on a coordinate plane that contains Q. We have the point -2, 4. So remember, this is our X and Y. So remember, you go left or right first, and then you go up and down. So it's -2, so we're going to the left. So -2, and then go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And label it Q. Then we have R, which is 4, -4. 4 to the left, to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And label it R. So then they ask you, add point T so that T is on the is collinear with these points. So I need to connect these two. So I'm going to get my line. So I have from Q to R. So that's my line. And I'm going to add the arrow to the other side because a line is continuous. And now they want me to add point P. So I'm using another color. Point T, I mean. Point T on that line so it's collinear. So I'm going to put it right here. And that's it. Not too bad. Same thing with this. So again, we need to put the 2 points in the graph. So we got B, -3, -2. Label it B. Then we have A, 3 and 2. Label it A, and we need to add point M to it so that is collinear with the lines, with the points on that line. So I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to add my arrow because it's a line that is continuous. So my arrowhead looks weird. And then I'm going to put my point M so it is collinear with these points. So I'll put it right here since it touches the origin. Origin is 0, 0. And I label it M. That's all. All right, so let's review based on what we've learned for this lesson. So we learned about point, line, and plane. Point is just like a dot on a graph or on a page, and it's labeled point A. You got or point whatever letter. A line is made up of at least 2 points. If you do not have 2 points, then it's not a line. You need 2 points to make a line. And then you would have the symbol that shows arrowheads going in each direction because a line is continuous, it never stops unless you make it stop. But it just keeps on going on and on. And a plane is like a surface on a desk, the walls, surface, the face of a building. You need at least 3 points to make a plane, and you label the plane. So when you can either label it 2 ways. You got plane S in this example, or plane ABC based on the points that are on that plane. You need at least 3. And it's like I say, it extends infinitely. That plane can be stretched for on and on and on. Right. We also learned collinear. Collinear means points on the same line. Think of words with the word cohabitate, conjoin. It's together. So points on the same line. Linear, you see the word line. Collinear, together on the same line. Non-collinear would be the opposite. So points that are not on the same line. Coplanar, you hear the word plane. Plane. It's a surface. That means points on the same plane. Opposite, non-coplanar, points not on the same plane. So we review, 2 points, at least 2 points to make a line, at least 3 points to make a plane. And with intersection, you got 2 lines intersecting. You could visualize it, put 2 lines, have 2 pencils intersect. They intersect at a point. 2 planes. Think of a wall and a ceiling, or the wall and the floor. Where do they intersect? What do they form? A line. And a line and a plane, you just think of the corner of the two walls where they meet, the corner, that line goes all the way up to the ceiling. Where does it intersect at? It's a point. That corner is a point. So just like it shows here. That's a way to visualize it. So when it comes to, when they ask you for a line, a plane, you need to label. Whatever label they gave, or whatever label you gave to your diagram. So that way you can distinguish from a line, a plane, and a point. Because without those, if you just put any letters, how am I supposed to know what you're trying to say? I'm not going to assume. I can't read your mind. So make sure to label. Be precise. And planes, when you have a shape, a 3D shape, how many faces or surfaces do you need in order to create that 3D shape? These are the planes. So we've got a pyramid. You've got 4. You got the base and you got the 3 sides. If you got a cube, you got 6 faces. So the 6 planes to make a cube. So think of it that way. Always visualize. Right. So with that being said, I think we're done with this lesson. And have a good day.